People think love announces itself loudly. Grand confessions, dramatic moments, undeniable certainty. But psychologists say most emotional affairs don't begin with intention. They begin with access. A message, a conversation, a moment you don't shut down in time. That's how it started for me. My name is Ayla, and when everything unraveled, I was already in a relationship. Ethan and I had been together for almost 2 years. Studies say relationships built on stability tend to last longer, not because they're exciting, but because they feel safe. Ethan was exactly that, safe, predictable, kind. He remembered my favorite coffee, checked in on me, and talked about the future like it was something guaranteed. Being with him felt like standing on solid ground. Then one ordinary night, while scrolling through my phone, a notification appeared. Leo Carter. We had met briefly months ago, nothing significant. Yet neuroscientists say the brain remembers people who trigger curiosity, even without deep interaction. Apparently, my brain had remembered him long before I did. "Hey, this is random, but I was thinking about you." I stared at the screen. Research says it takes less than 5 seconds for the brain to decide whether to respond to temptation. I took longer than that. I replied anyway. At first, it was harmless, just talking, laughing, sharing playlists and late-night thoughts. Leo had a way of making conversations feel intense. He asked questions that made me feel interesting, and psychologists say feeling seen releases dopamine, the same chemical linked to addiction. I didn't realize it then, but my brain was already associating Leo with excitement. Ethan didn't notice the shift. Why would he? People don't usually notice emotional distance until it becomes physical absence. One night, Leo asked, "Why do I feel like you're holding back?" I hesitated, then told him, "I have a boyfriend." There was a pause. "Do you love him?" I didn't answer. Silence, according to relationship studies, is often more damaging than lies because it lets the other person imagine the truth themselves. The first time I met Leo alone, I lied to Ethan and said I was meeting friends. Research says once a person tells their first lie in a relationship, the second comes easier. That scared me, but not enough to stop. Leo chose a quiet cafe. When he smiled at me, my heart raced. Scientists say the body can't always tell the difference between anxiety and attraction. I told myself it was chemistry. We talked for hours about dreams, fear, the feeling of settling. Leo talked about people who choose comfort over truth. When he kissed me, I didn't stop him. That night, I went home and slept beside Ethan, my body calm, but my mind restless. Experts call this cognitive dissonance, holding two conflicting truths at once and convincing yourself both are okay. That's when I began living 2 lives. With Ethan, I was steady and familiar. With Leo, I was bold and alive. Studies show people don't usually cheat because they stop loving their partner. They cheat because a different version of themselves feels awakened elsewhere. Ethan made me feel secure. Leo made me feel desired. And instead of choosing one, I chose deception. Ethan trusted me deeply. Trust, psychologists say, is built slowly but breaks instantly. Some nights he held me and said how lucky he was. Each time, guilt tightened in my chest. Leo wanted more of me. He asked why he couldn't visit my place, why weekends were complicated. One night he asked softly, "Am I the other guy?" I laughed it off. Avoidance is a common defense mechanism when people fear consequences more than dishonesty. But lies don't stay contained. The collapse happened on a night I thought was controlled. Ethan was supposed to be out of town. Leo invited me to a party. What I didn't know is that fate doesn't care about planning.
After that, the silence was unbearable. No messages, no one waiting. For the first time in months, I was alone, with myself. That's when the truth became clear. I didn't love 2 men. I loved how they made me feel. Research shows people often confuse emotional fulfillment with love. Ethan gave me security, Leo gave me intensity. I wanted both without accepting the cost. Weeks passed, months. Ethan never came back. Leo sent one message: I hope you figure out what you want before you break someone else. I never replied. Now I understand something important. Love isn't about having options, it's about integrity. Avoiding a decision doesn't protect anyone, it only delays the damage. If you ever find yourself torn between two hearts, remember this: the brain craves excitement, the heart craves safety. But character is revealed by the choices you make when you can't have both. Because the longer you avoid the truth, the more painful it becomes when the truth finally speaks.